Happy Halloween, Bat fans. Luke here, ready to do this week's Bat Chat session with everybody. We're going to take a look at this week's Bat books. And there were 5 books that came out this week. Yep, 5. And I will say it was a pretty solid week. So we'll go ahead and start with James Tynion's run on Detective Comics with issue number 943. And of course, I got both covers. Got on the left, got Jason Fabok's cover, which I know I say I hold Capullo's art in like the highest regard. I know I recently did a top 10 New 52 Batman artist countdown, and of course he took the cake. And Juan Ferreira too, I hold in a very high regard. But man, Fabok, he just does just an absolute awesome Batman. And yeah, this cover's no different. Love it. Got a member of the Victim Syndicate, which we will see inside there in the sky, and then Batman coming down. Just a beautifully rendered cover by Fabok. And on the right, we have the Raphael Albuquerque variant. Really awesome variant cover as well. So, but the covers are good. What about the story? What happens in here is that we're still kind of dealing with the aftermath of Tim's death, and also the aftermath of the Night of the Monster Men, as Gotham continues to rebuild. And what they're doing is kind of a way to come up with a fundraiser. Is they kind of have like a police ball. The GCPD's hosting a ball, and to raise funds. And while they're there, we have Bruce Wayne and Kay Kane is there. And we see Luke Fox, also known as Batwing, make an appearance. And during the fundraiser, we do see the arrival of the Victim Syndicate, who basically say they are there. They are victims because of Batman. Batman's presence causes all this bad things to occur, and they are victims because of Batman. Blah blah blah. And that's pretty much it. And in the beginning part, again, you still kind of see some members of the team kind of cope with the events after Tim and Night of the Monster Men. Stephanie was her state of mind was depicted really good in this. Also, we have a appearance by Harper Row, which every time I see Harper Row, it's just like, why? Why do we have Duke Thomas? Because reality, I think we should take out Duke Thomas and insert Harper Row in his place. I really think Harper should have been the obvious choice. But so why is Luke Fox there? Well, we find out that Batman is trying to, it's gonna sound harsh, but he's sort of trying to replace Tim, meaning that Tim's niche on the team was kind of like the technical savviness type of stuff, and there's one person who can actually run all the equipment that the team needs, and that's Luke Fox. So that's why Luke was kind of inserted into the story, and why Bruce and Kay Kane were there to talk to him at that policeman's fundraiser event. Again, that's pretty much the gist of the story. I think there are a lot of good things in here. I'm gonna say that the dwelling on Tim's quote-unquote death, which okay for a little bit, but I just hope they don't fall down the trap of making this a long, drawn-out thing. I mean, I get it. It is a traumatic event, but you don't want it, because you reading this, it almost feels like the center of the story, when you don't want the Victim Syndicate part to kind of get, I don't want to say pushed off to the side, but loses the, kind of gets the primary focus of the story, I think is what I might be getting at. So it's okay to have Batman brooding, and that's what he does, but kind of cope with Tim's death. I just don't want it to be so smack in our face for that much longer. So Not a problem now, but that's just a concern I have as we go on. That this continues to almost feel like the central part of the story. The Victim Syndicate, yeah, the concept might not be all that original. I mean, why is there bad things in Gotham? Because of Batman, you know. If it wasn't for Batman, all these costume freaks wouldn't be running around. So, I mean, you get it. It's not really all that original concept. That said, we do got a new villain or a group of villains, which I always enjoy. I like the twist on the crime syndicate. You have the victim syndicate. And overall, this has potential to be pretty good. It just, I guess, how it gets executed. It's only the first issue in the story arc, so we'll kind of see. I thought the art was really good inside. Clayface, his part of the story is awesome. While it's relatively short, it's just his little time to shine in this issue was really good, and you feel bad for Basil. You really do. But yeah. It had some funny parts when he's grabbing his face, like, yeah, I'm normal. It's pretty funny. So, but yeah, this was a good first issue of the story arc. Kind of gets back in the swing of things after the Night of the Monster Men story kind of wrapped up, and yeah, it's good stuff. So, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 for Detective Comics 943, and it just continues to be an awesome book. Tynion really doing good things. Next book we're going to take a look at, if it doesn't fall down, is Batman Beyond, issue number 1, the official number 1. We just came off the Rebirth issue. And what basically occurs here is that Terry is dealing with the Joker's gang. And kind of runs up against this primary one, member of the gang, where he's kind of souped up on Venom, and unfortunately after their fight, Terry ends up dealing with a lot of the Joker's gang, and he doesn't retreat, but he sort of does. He's kind of unmatched right now, because you gotta remember, Terry hasn't been Batman for quite some time, and in that absence, you know, just like anything else, your cardio's down, your strength's down, and you gotta maintain all that stuff. And if you step away for a little bit, you're gonna lose your edge a little bit. And so basically, this Joker's gang got Terry at a point where he's not in this tip-top shape, and he has to make a strategic retreat. We'll call it that. And the Joker's gang, I think they got the one up on Batman, but Batman, Terry goes back to the Batcave and kind of regroups and figures out a way that, hey, okay, right now I'm not in my best form, so we'll try another route. And he's going to infiltrate the Joker's gang in here and kind of go after that way. Overall, this was fun. Art was pretty good. Dan Jurgens, doing pretty good stuff here. I'm really interested to see what they do with the corpse of the Joker. If they reanimate him or what, I don't know. But I'm really interested in that. But I like that there's this one thing that was part of this story that I really did enjoy. Was the theme on, you know, who do the people really want to be? Do they want to be Batman or do they want to be the Joker, you know? Because the hero, it's kind of like, you do good things, and that's kind of that. But why people want to be the Joker, because there's so many scenarios life throws at you where it kind of calls for, or not really, maybe not calls to be, but you want to be the bad guy. You know, the neighbor that pisses you off, the guy who's, you know, driving the car and cuts you off, the person that steals your money and stuff like that. You want to get back and get even. That's the Joker in everybody. And I thought that was a pretty interesting kind of angle to go with. And yeah, it was fun. Tim's shown to be a little fallible. Tim's shown that Terry, not to be as tip-top shape as he probably normally is. And I like that. That's, dare say, a realistic approach. Take away a workout regimen and time as Batman for a while, you're going to fatigue a little bit. So, I did appreciate that. But overall, this was fun. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Batman Beyond issue number 1 was pretty good. Next, we're going to take a look at the number 1 issue of Teen Titans. Again, finishing up with Rebirth issue, I believe that was last month. And what we find out here is kind of more of the fallout. Raven, Beast Boy, Kid Flash, and Starfire are still under the restraints put in place by Damian, and Damian making the plea that why they're going to be the new Teen Titans. And it pretty much, I dare say that's about the gist. It's kind of like an internal struggle with the team. We do find out that at the end, the cover sure as hell spoiled it, so no worries not to spoil what happens toward the end. Damian gets a present from good old Grandpa, which turns out to be a dead Robin inside, and a final plea that, hey, come over to the League of Assassins, as your destiny is laid out to be. If not, suffer the consequences. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the story. And Raish now has a group of people called the Fist of the Dragon, who are now going to go after Damian and bring him to good old Grandpa. Overall, it wasn't bad. The best part of this issue, I thought, was the interaction between Damian and Alfred. And throughout Damian's time, even going back, way back, to like Batman and Son, we were shown kind of glimmers of it, but as time goes on, you definitely see some more of, Damian interacting with Alfred sometimes can be just so spot on. Because, while obviously Bruce is Damian's dad, and he is Batman, whatever, sometimes being Batman, you kind of, we'll just call it what it is, you're like the absentee dad. And Alfred is kind of like the ultimate dad figure, and maybe the good grandpa, where, Damian can kind of have that father-son bond every once in a while that he can't have with Bruce. And you see one of those moments here. And it's done in like a typical, Damian fashion, where it's like, when he's getting the birthday cake, and Alfred kind of went out of his way to get him a birthday cake and celebrate his birthday, even though, good old dad can't be there. But even though he complains about the flavor, and he's like, I would have probably chose something else, but this is still good, thanks, Pennyworth. So I do enjoy a good Damian Alfred interaction scene, and we got a pretty good one in here. And the thing I think kind of bothered me a little bit in this is just how quick kind of like the team escaped from their restraints, kind of turned the tides on Damian, and how Damian, because before that happened, I thought his dialogue was very Damian-like, just real arrogant, but then he got kind of soft toward the end, and I don't have any friends, and I just don't see Damian complain about all that much. So, but that said, this was still, it was still good. The art was okay. We'll see. I thought it was okay. Overall, I feel comfortable giving this the 3 out of 5. It was pretty decent, and I'm really excited to see Damian kind of lead this group, go against good old Granddad and Ra's al Ghul in the League of Assassins. Next issue, we're gonna take a look. Batgirl number 4. Hope Larson and Raphael Albuquerque's run. I believe we only got 2 more issues left before Albuquerque kind of moves on. We get the new artist. And I will say in this, I heard a lot of negative feedback regarding Albuquerque on Batgirl. Not that the art is bad, it's just maybe just doesn't kind of fit his flavor of art and not complemented with a good colorist. Anchor or whatnot. And then that's fine. But I will say in this issue, I really did enjoy the art in here. I really did like Albuquerque's pencils. Just did a really fantastic job. Just kind of wanted to throw him some love there. And the cover I thought was okay. I liked Babs. I thought Albuquerque did a great job of the execution of Babs there. Teacher knows best. Okay. As far as the story goes inside, I thought it was pretty good. Babs kind of interacting with this group of people that kind of work for the teacher. They're trying to get this formula that the teacher's after, and we see kind of the fallout between what has been really going on with Kai, Babs' friend, and unfortunately, good, bad, or indifferent, he's now put in a bad spot where, he was actually transporting the very thing that he was trying to smuggle to this group of bad people. And when put in the hospital, he was given some antibiotics, and in doing so, it kind of destroyed the formula that was, that biological tech that he was smuggling, and now it's destroyed. But he got to pay the money to get that formula, but now it's destroyed. So now he's got a problem because he had an in with the other group of people, but that in has now fled. Now he's on his own, as kind of like, the mob is now going to be coming back. They fronted him the money. Now he can't deliver, so now he's got a problem, and he's in the hospital, and he's got to deal with that. And I really did enjoy Babs' interaction here. How she kind of was talking to Kai. It was like, leave Babs alone. Obviously, Kai doesn't know Batgirl is Babs, and she kind of spun the tables on him, saying, "Hey, you care about her, but now you put her in this very precarious position because of your decisions and whatnot." So, but overall, I thought the story is pretty good. I'm gonna be honest. We got a couple more issues left in the story arc. I didn't think that the Babs traveling through Asia would kind of work, but it's surprising me. It's not perfect. I still say I want my Babs back in Gotham proper. Burnside, if executed well, okay. And I think we're going to get that next story arc. But, surprisingly, this actually turns to be pretty good. But I will say I will give Hope Larson huge props. Is that when I'm reading Batgirl, I feel like I got Babs at her core. What makes Babs is honored here, whereas we had the Fletcher run. I really felt that the Batgirl I was reading wasn't Babs. They did not stay true to the core of what makes Babs. But I will say Hope Larson, I think, got it right. And good note by my friends in Comic Book Roundtable last night. They think it's a kind of blend between some of the good stuff that we had in the Burnside, which, okay, I'll admit there were some good things about the Burnside run. There's not too many, but intertwine that with what makes Babs, and you kind of got like a pretty good blend of the old stuff that makes Bab great, with the modernized little twist a little bit, which I can live with that. But yeah, this was fun. I'm also gonna give this a 3 out of 5. I'm very curious to see how this all kind of wraps up, and yeah, but I really did enjoy the art in this issue. It was good stuff. 3 out of 5 for Batgirl, number 4. Which leads us to our final issue we're going to take a look at today. That is Suicide Squad, issue number 5. Whew. Suicide Squad. To be honest, coming off the movie, you would think this would be like a marquee book. And it's double shipping. It's amongst the marquee books. I just feel like execution-wise, maybe not too much. But in this issue, I really did enjoy it. Again, kind of like a 2-story split, where we'll go backwards. The backup story in this is kind of the origin, if you would, with Hack. Hack being the person that the squad retrieved from the Russian prison that can kind of infiltrate and download a bunch of computer programs, and kind of like Babs, got that photographic memory. Well, take out memory and just think downloading computer programs. That's pretty much Hack. And you got her backstory and her interaction with Amanda Waller. I thought was really cool. So, in the art in the back, I can't remember. Was it Williams? I can't remember. Either way, I thought the art was pretty good. Was it my favorite of the backup stories? Probably not. The Deadshot one was really good. The Harley one was just freaking superb. And the Captain Boomerang one, I think I put a second. So as of right now, Harley. Then I'd say Boomerang. Who else am I missing? Was it Flag? Yeah, Flag. Flag I kind of put in the bottom. Deadshot one before that. But yeah, backup story was pretty decent. The main story was surprise. Looks like there might be a new member of the Suicide Squad, and that's kind of what they're hitting at. I don't want to spoil who it could potentially be, but if you've been reading the Suicide Squad thus far, it just kind of builds on what's been kind of shown so far. So it might not be a shock. It's just kind of like a continuation of the story. But I do like how when they might go ahead with this Suicide Squad versus Justice League crossover event we got coming up, and if this person becomes a member of the squad, oh boy, man, that fight just got really interesting because his counterpart over in the Justice League, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, it's kind of dealing with this whole orb, the Phantom Zone orb, put it in lack of better terms, that's being brought back to Belle Reve. And it's not really a direct tie to the Phantom Zone because they thought really the only person who had access to that was Superman. But now this is kind of like a new tech that kind of indirectly can do the same thing as Superman with the access to the Phantom Zone, but not directly like the same thing, if that kind of makes sense. And it's kind of like, Star Labs, or not Star Labs. Who the hell is Squad? Task Force S. Who the heck they work for? Whatever. Amanda Waller. Yeah, Task Force X. Whatever. Them kind of coming to grips with what this technology they now got in their hands and what they could do with it. And I like there was a, good conversation between Flag and Waller about the Cold War and arms race, and now what basically their version of Task Force X kind of brought about over there in Russia. It was pretty good. It was pretty decent. The cliffhanger in the main part of the story, okay. Very curious to see what Deadshot has done. So, hey, honey. But yeah, I also give this a 3 out of 5. It was good. Probably one of the better stories in Suicide Squad. It's not gonna blow you away, but I think it had more substance. Where the other issues I thought were just a lot of action-packed scenes with not really a good coherent story. Where the backup story was better than the main story. This one, kind of even keel. So I'll give this a 3 out of 5. Suicide Squad issue number 5, and yeah. So anyway, gonna wrap this up here. I got a daughter that wants to play, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, have a happy Halloween to all who celebrate tomorrow. Hopefully, have a great time, have a safe time, and then we'll be back here next week for some more Bat Chatting. So until then, take care.